Hey, this is Matt once again. What about the video? I know this is a bit of a different setup, but honestly, I was playing a game, recording some stuff, and I figured I would put in another movie review since I'm sitting here waiting for some stuff to transfer file-wise. So Guillermo wanted another review. Thank you so much for the paid request and for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, re-reviews, reviews, what have you. Feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box, and I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. Now, this is for a 2022 film called The Lair. Now, The Lair is a film directed by Neil Marshall. Neil Marshall, who did The Descent, Dog Soldiers, and in a way, this is kind of trying to recapture that era of his filmmaking because he's trying to combine both. Like, you have the soldiers going up against monsters, like Dog Soldiers, but then you have a little bit of the underground, in this case a bunker, while The Descent was in a cave system, and you have a female lead, just like that film had a bunch of female leads. It stars his wife, Charlotte Kirk, which will maybe turn some people off. They did a film together called The Reckoning, which I thought was awful. It was like the worst. Well, that and Hellboy, the remake, reboot, were the worst Neil Marshall films I've seen. I just say this one, I liked as mindless fun, as a time waster. Because while it's not original at all, you've seen this done all before. The plot is as simple as Charlotte Kirk, she is a pilot, her and her co-pilot crash in their jet. Takes place 2017 in Afghanistan. She gets chased by the bad guys. She shoots a lot of bad guys, a ton of them. Escapes to this bunker, realizes there's creatures in there, gets out of the bunker, and soon after, or not, she gets picked up by these other soldiers, the 2nd Range Battalion of Operations. And you have this one guy who's like the leader, who is so over the top with his accent, and he's got an eye patch. He's southern talking like this. He talking like he's Matthew McConaughey times 10. There's this black girl who is a kleptomaniac. She's sassy and bitchy. You have like a buff black guy. You have a nerdy guy with glasses who's a medic, but he was alright. And I actually didn't mind the sergeant, Jonathan Howard. I thought he was fine, like as in his acting was fine. I didn't mind that character. There's nothing depth-wise to the characters. They're pretty one-dimensional. And Charlotte Kirk, I know there are people that don't like her in the movie, because I read up some reviews, just like a 4 point something. And I thought she was fine. Like, I thought she did alright. I mean, yeah, it's the director's wife, and I thought she was awful in The Reckoning, but this, yes, there are times where she seems a bit too pretty. Like, her hair is perfectly combed, despite all the battles going on. But her acting, I thought she was more than serviceable. I didn't mind her. And the movie, at the very least, goes at a pretty fast pace. It's under 90 minutes long. And I will say this, Neil Marshall, at least he implemented some pretty good practical effects. The creatures are done practically. They look like the imp from Doom, which is funny because Guillermo requested another movie that'll probably be uploaded before this called Death Valley from 2021, which also had a creature that looked like the creature from Doom, the imp. And it's even on the poster. But Death Valley, that one was incredibly boring. This, at least, yes, there's some really dodgy CGI. When the jet crashes, that's really dodgy. At the end of the film in the bunker, they're in this elevator shaft, and it's trying to be pulled up by this Humvee, but the Humvee is being pulled back, and it falls into the shaft, and that's some really dodgy CGI. So that's a flaw there. Again, it doesn't do anything new, original, different, unique. You've seen this done many times before. I mean, going back to the days of The Terror Within and such, what I say I would like more than this. And it's definitely not up to the standard of Dodge Soldiers and The Descent. But like I said, I enjoy this more than the new Hellboy. I enjoy this more than The Reckoning. Because like I said, I thought the lead girl was fine interacting. Like I said, I like the sergeant guy, Jonathan Howard. These are the moments I was laughing at, or I appreciate that good chunk of this is action driven. Whether in the lady being doing a bit of Rambo on the bad guys, or the creatures, which it was a smart decision to not just have one creature, but to have dozens of creatures. So the soldiers are fighting them and shooting them, and someone getting lit up, and there's a point where the base gets attacked, and that's definitely one of the high points of the film, where you have these practical creatures looking like something from Doom, and it has some good gore that's practical as well. There's some that one gets their face ripped off, someone gets their jaw, a swipe and their jaw is taken off, someone near the end gets punched through the back of the head and out the front of the face. It's like, ooh, shit. So at least Neil Marshall knew enough to pack the movie with bits of that and decent amount of gunplay. Even the finale, like I said, nowhere near up to Dodge Soldiers, but you tell he's trying to go a little bit back to the well. Does he get to a point where the Sergeant Jonathan Howard, I forget the character's name, but he plays a sergeant, his actor's name is Jonathan Howard. He's fighting one of these creatures, kind of like the people in Dog Soldier who fight the werewolves. And this guy here's got like a shield, and he's fighting it. Like I said, I appreciate that the creatures are men in suits and practical. There's even the bit where they shoot their tongue out like a liquor from Resident Evil, and that's done for the most part practical. At least the big ton is done practical. And the plot has something to do with some alien DNA with a human host in this bunker. I think Russians or Soviets or someone did experiments. But like I said, it had enough little moments of fun and entertainment, of gunplay, bits of gore, creature feature, monster action. Like I said, the lead and the sergeant guy, like the two of them I didn't mind. The music fits well. I mean, it's nothing grandiose or memorable, but the music fit the tone of the movie. And I'm like, okay, the score's not too bad, not too shabby. There's no stupid out of the blue ending or nihilistic downbeat ending. Like I said, it's brought down by the fact of, like I said, there's some dodgy CGI in there. You know, there's an explosion at the end that's very dodgy. And the moments I said. Some of the supporting cast, like the guy with the eye patch, I don't know what movie he was in. He thought I was making Hot Shots Part 3. Like, I don't know what movie that guy was in. But it's trying to be an ode to those monster movies back to the day, where it's just 80-some minutes. You get some machismo guys or gals. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, nothing confusing but yeah, nothing original. It's one of those that if Saturday night it's raining out or snowing out and you're watching it and it's like, yeah, you get some easy, I got some easy fun out of it. Mindless fun. But not an underrated gem, not classic, not Neil Marshall's back, but yeah, I liked it more than The Reckoning. I liked it more than some other direct-to-video film. For a direct-to-video creature feature in 2022, maybe I just had the lowest of low expectations. It was an easy watch. Like I said, despite some, yeah, like I said, there's elements I appreciate about it. I appreciate the look of the bunker. I appreciate the lighting in those scenes. Like I said, the music has a somber tone that fit. The gunplay, couple of the actors. I didn't think it was one of those where all the guys are awful, because like the medic guy is good. He's a good guy, and the sergeant is a good guy, and they get their moments to shine as well, especially the sergeant. So it's not woke. I didn't see any of that. Granted, there's a bit that made me laugh unintentionally where after she's escaped the bunker, the soldiers at the Humvee kind of bump her with the vehicle and she gets knocked down. That made me laugh a bit, which I'm sure wasn't the point. Wow, she seems pretty fine with it being hit by a truck. But like I said, it was nice to see some of the practical gore and practical creature work, and I'm a sucker for people with guns fighting monsters. Definitely liked it more than the other ones Guillermo sent in, the Prey, Legend of Carnactus, or Death Valley. Like, none of them can compete with Dog Soldiers. Although, to be honest, if you want to see this done the best way to see it is this game here, House of Ashes. I did a playthrough of this for those who want to watch, or there's people that have edited this down into a movie. Sorry about that. House of Ashes. There's always that way to do it as well. So, House of Ashes is definitely the best of that sort of Afghanistan creature feature, and that's a video game. But it was alright. Flawed, very flawed, but alright. You do wish that there was a bit more original ideas. You do wish that if they have this dodgy CGI, maybe they'll try to do something a bit different or do something a little bit within your budget. But at least you did some practical gore creature work and some gunplay action and a bit of, at least it's some bit of easy fun for me. In the Lair, I've seen much worse movies. Much, much worse. Like some of the stuff Rob Zombie's done. Speaking of directors who worked with their wives. Or again, The Reckoning, Neil Marshall's last film I saw. Thought this was much better than that one. But that's just me. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later.